Hey there, folks. Welcome to our run of Beam Saber, Austin Ramsey's Beam Saber, inspired by Neon Yang's Genesis of Misery. Today, we are doing character creation for this particular run. Before I get too far into things, I'm just going to do a quick round of introducing our players. So if you could just give your name, your pronouns, and if you want to like plug anything, feel free. But I'm Steven, he, him. You can find me at Steven Alligator, but you'll mostly just find these videos and you're already here. So if we can go around clockwise for me on the Zoom, that would bring us to you, Cricket, and then Roy and Victor.
Okay. So I'm Cricket, pronouns they, them. I will be playing Coryphera Aleridon, call sign Artemis, which is using the playbook Envoy.
Uh, I'm Roy. I'll be playing Eddie, a hacker, and yeah, Eddie. Eddie is his first name, and he doesn't even share that with most people.
My name is Victor, he, him. I am playing Leopold, call sign unknown so far, and I am an infiltrator.
Cool. Yeah, this game is hosted through the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an online community mostly focusing on role-playing games of the indie and OSR varieties. Besides publishing a zine called The Codex, as well as several online gaming podcasts, it also hosts a gaming calendar that this and many other games are organized through every month. It is open to non-members, so if you're interested in joining up, playing some cool games, you can check it out through the link below. As always, we are making use of a couple safety tools. We've already gone over them, so I'm not going to go into detail about what they are, but we're making use of the X card, lines and veils, and script change. We're also making use of the open door policy. People are free to step away from the table if they need to at any time. It's fine. Your life and needs take priority over the game. But yeah, so we have done most of the kind of nitty gritty of character creation off camera, but I kind of wanted to open up here, get a little bit of a sense of what each of these who each of these characters are, and we'll flesh out some connections between them. So you're kind of the furthest along in terms of figuring out your character, Cricket. So how about we open on your character and you give us kind of their if you kind of want to give us their deal, anything you think we should know about them.
Sure. So I don't know if anyone paid attention to the last session we had that's listening to this now, but I'm just kind of going to go over again their history and their tragedy, and sort of what they're going on through. So Cora was on sort of a Survivor-esque or like Hunger Games-esque reality show, where they had to like socially manipulate and like solve puzzles and do all these things in order to survive. Ended up winning, but also had to witness a lot of murders and participate in a lot of murders along the way. And so now they are trying to recover their name and reputation because the galaxy at large had to watch them basically committing murders or being complicit in murders in order to survive that situation. And their drive is to get back at the people that manipulated them into that situation, basically. So their call sign is Artemis, which I thought was fitting because that's the goddess of the hunt that also like plays into like the goddess of the moon and things like that. And me being a Cancer, I'm a moon child, so I wanted that like energy for my character as well. I took one in hunt. I took a couple in finesse. With the envoy, I get consort and sway, which plays into her being sort of in the upper echelon, which I feel like for pulling for this competition. They try to pull from the upper echelon so that it has more impact socially on the galaxy at large, obviously. And then for my vehicle, I did take maneuver, bombard, and scan. And speaking of my vehicle, their name is Service. They are kind of a green and gold humanoid mech. They have antlers, and they have sort of a slightly exposed frame. So there is light armor, but there is sort of wiring and kind of frame boards and stuff that are exposed. This is more so to enable lighter weight maneuverability, mobility for that mech. And then I guess, should I get into beliefs once everyone else has kind of introduced their characters?
Yeah,
We
we'll
haven't
introduce
really gotten to
characters
beliefs yet.
first. One thing I
Sure.
want to like, but I had a couple questions for your character. But one thing
Sure.
I noted when you brought it up, because your history and tragedy are the same right now. I'm actually curious if just because I think this will benefit you more in terms of XP, if you wanted to specify your history as that you're from the upper echelons, because that way you get
Sure.
XP for acting
Sure.
on that.
Yeah, I
Just
can do
because
that.
it's already just because this whole survivor of the reality competition is already your
And
tragedy.
tragedy. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I will put socialite of the upper, which makes sense because that is like she wanted to bring honor to her home planet or station. I don't know if we're going with like we're on a central sort of like station or planet, but and also to her family name. By doing this, that's how she was manipulated into it by, I guess we're saying the Empire, right?
Yeah,
So,
or at least by
so
this
yeah,
particular Axiom Entertainment.
yeah, right. So she was manipulated into that situation in order to bring honor to her home planet or station and her family name and things. And it actually ended up doing the complete opposite. And now she is completely villainized by what the trauma and tragedy that she had to endure through that experience. So yeah, that's fine. I don't mind to change that. That
Yeah, no,
totally
I
fits.
just so
Yeah.
I'm curious. You say get revenge on the people involved. Is there some powerful person that you particularly have your eye on?
Um, I don't know. Was there any squads or anything that would be connected to that?
There is
Because I know
Axiom
you had
Entertainment.
mentioned,
They are a tier 2
yeah,
squad that I like. If you also want to make up a squads here and make up characters, you could feel free because these are all just things I have penciled in
yeah.
right now.
Um,
They're an imperial propaganda crew focusing on gathering footage to support the government at home.
well,
But
and I
they could
think
certainly have a rank.
a
Go
lot
ahead.
of what this show is about, because they're taking people from across this system that we're working in, is that the whole idea is that they want to use it as a means of spreading propaganda. Like
Yep.
whoever wins the show, that um, faction or whatever kind of is perceived as having power in the war, even though it doesn't really mean anything.
Cool.
So yeah, I could say Axiom Entertainment for sure. I don't know if maybe there's some people out there. I'll have to think about it a little bit more. Some people that were
Sure.
connected to other players on the show that have ill will with Cora because of what she did on the show, specifically
Hmm.
people that she had to kill. So I'll have to think about that a little bit more, but definitely that's definitely something that I'm wanting to explore as well.
Cool. That's something I'll make a note of. I'm gonna turn over. Do any of the other players have questions about Cora that they wanted to answered?
Sounds like an awesome character.
Yeah,
Cool.
looking forward to learning more.
Yeah, let's go around then. Eddie, could you tell us about yourself?
Um, you bet. So my character is Eddie, a hacker. I my history is criminal. So I've been at the hacking game for a long time. My tragedy is that I think we were talking before we started recording about a couple different options for this. Somehow a crew was caught my idea was that I ratted out my squad to survive, but there's a couple different ways we talked about that might work, so we can kind of nail down exactly how that looks if we want to intertwine Victor's background and mine. But yeah, somehow that a score went wrong. They pulled unwillingly into the heretics, and so I guess what I was picturing for my drive was to get revenge on the authority who caught my squad that maybe under duress was pulled in to become an asset for the heretics, and that maybe I was converted and kind of believe in the cause over the course of this, but I still hold an absolutely personal grudge against whoever got back at me, and I can picture the revenge trying to like embarrass that person, get them drummed out, or anything up through assassination, depending on the tone that fits the game best. My my specialty is kind of infiltration, hacking, and sabotage. So my call sign is Havoc. This it could be a not a good fit for a number of reasons. So please jump in if this doesn't fit. I was just trying to think of interesting quirks for my mech. And one I thought of was like that it's analog, which I'm totally stealing like from Pacific Rim, which is sort of antithetical, that why in the hell is this hacker have like this analog non-digital? I was trying to think of how that might work. And again, stealing a little bit from Pacific Rim, that it would be like basically like the equivalent of a Soviet mech, that I have this not incredibly high tech yet this incredibly technically proficient pilots dealing with maybe the last generation of technology. So then, yeah, I don't know how far to lean into that. I don't know if I want to try and do a Russian accent for the entire campaign. But so I was picturing the vehicle name, the word for, according to Google, which is authoritative, as we all know, the way to say gremlin in Russian is gremlin. So to say like I'm picturing, like the gremlin, like the Twilight Zone, something that comes in like sabotages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like Phantom or Shadow. I'm like, no, that is way too slick for the level of execution.
And with like folklore, like gremlins mess with technology, so totally fits. Yeah.
But yeah, so again, like to say that I'm from some Soviet analog, yeah, I don't know if it's just way too pulling everybody out of immersion to be, why the hell are there space Soviets floating around in our sci-fi setting? But just thought it might be an easy place to jumping in point. If there can be fantasy Scottish dwarves, why can't there be space Soviet? But yeah, I can absolutely change that if that's not a fit for folks. But yeah. Oh, and I guess the special ability that jumped out at me is the Tesla special ability. When you push yourself, you can do one of the following in addition to the normal benefits: unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon from the power grid, summon an AR storm in your immediate vicinity that will cause AR confusion. So anyway, anything else I should cover or questions?
Cool. I'm wondering, when your crew was caught, is that when you ended up becoming part of the heretics, or?
That was kind of what I was picturing, but
Okay. Who were you with before? Were you with the Empire, the Church?
I was picturing it. I guess I was picturing it as kind of a independent contractor, sort of like a
Okay.
a Shadowrunner type squad that
Okay.
mission by mission, and maybe we were stealing from or hacking into the heretics themselves, on
I
commission
see.
from somebody else.
Okay. Who in that case, do you have a handler then? That still has some power over you?
That's a great question. I mean, I think there's awesome story potential, so yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at your allies and enemies, see if
Yeah,
there's
I
anything that
think
would fit in there.
yeah.
Sure.
And I think the allies and enemies actually, like, that's an old part of the game, like this to slim it down, because there's already so much on a Beam Saber sheet. Allies and enemies aren't a thing anymore, but if you want to pull from there.
Sure. Yeah, I love that idea that maybe it's and maybe it's somebody I just got a job from, and then I'm like, all right, screw it, I guess I have to switch sides, go over to them, and I don't think there'll be that much blowback. We're just some low level crappy squad, and then come to find out, oh, it's actually a really powerful patron that was looking for deniability, and it was kind of a test case for this crew, and like there's major downsides to betraying them long term. So yeah, and maybe they have some sort of leverage over me.
Yeah, I'm even looking. There is a tier 2 faction I have who's just Phoenix Song, a psychic handler.
Love it. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
love
and
it for the character, but as the player watching this happen, I love it.
yeah. That reminds me, I do want some kind of handler, PR agent, something involved with Cora as far as helping her fix her rep with
Okay.
society at large. So that's something I need to think about too. But that's like that. I want to put a pin in that and come back to it as well.
Cool. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for Eddie? Oh yeah, I
No,
see
I
you
think.
don't really have an opening. What have you been doing since
Oh yeah.
becoming a part of the heretics?
Um, yeah, skullduggery of all kinds. I was seen as a potential asset for the heretics because of my skill set and my moral flexibility. Yeah, and I was picturing just to make my life even more miserable, whether I don't know whether it's the Phoenix group or the heretics potentially stuck a little bomb device in my spine so that to keep me on the up and up. So but yeah, just do it. I'm picturing doing starting kind of test runs of infiltration.
Mhm.
Cool.
I was just gonna say, I think I like the idea of having the analog mech because we're B squad, so we don't have, we're starting out like tier 0 or whatever. I like the idea of it not being a super tech heavy mech, even though
I
you're at
also
like
like
I
the
think.
idea of the analog quirk because it also
Oh yeah.
informs us about what other mechs look like in the world, if this is a
Oh yeah.
exceptional thing.
Well,
Yeah,
and then
I think it's cool.
I was debating. Okay, well, Eddie doesn't sound very Russian, and I'm like, wait, this guy doesn't trust anybody. Oh, I should say for my appearance. Shit, I have too many things open. I put damn it, squat, powerful, shifty, fast talking, and that Eddie is the only name he ever gives to anybody. So I should change that to something more Russian sounding. But then I'm like, no, because like name is Eddie. You make like this so obviously not, he obviously can make a fake name to everybody. Like, wow, you don't strike me as an Eddie. No, name is Eddie is all you need to know. But anyway.
Cool. And then Leopold, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Leopold, he, him, call sign Mist, an infiltrator, with a pocked face, artificial eyes, slick, prematurely gray hair, a lanky body, and practical clothes. My history is that I grew up an orphan on the streets and did what I had to do to survive. And, that meant thieving, breaking in, and doing whatever I could with the other youths and my sibling. We, of course, inevitably fell afoul of Empire law enforcement, were imprisoned in our teens, and it was while on a prisoner transport that we came across the heretics who attacked our convoy. We were left to die by the Empire, shot down, crashed, and the survivors taken into the heresy. Um, and so now I am working on, or my opening is that I am working on an expendable salvage crew because I cannot be trusted. So, my drive is that I find little for me in either the Empire or the Heresy, and so I just want to find a safe place away from it all, and that's what I'm working towards.
Yeah. Uh Out of curiosity, I want to check in. Are you interested in having your sibling show up as a rival? Your
Yeah, so
long lost sibling.
that's exactly
Yes.
why I
Okay.
put in my tragedy. My friends and sibling died, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, by all means, hurt me, or hurt my character, break his heart, just not romantically necessarily. Um,
Okay.
oh, and yeah, so in terms of my vehicle has a name, Vapor, and not quite sure about the look other than I'm envisioning something sort of spidery. I liked from the Genesis of Misery that it was, that it was they were upright but had lots of limbs. So I'm keeping the lots of limbs but not going to be upright. Instead, something that that crawls around, maybe has hands, can grip onto things, be on the underside of a bridge invisible, for example, something along those lines.
Spindly and scuttly
Yeah,
and
exactly, and
yeah.
disturbing. No head, instead, I'm probably somewhere in the middle of the thing, in the body. Um, yeah. And not sure what the weapons will be or anything like that, just that I
Yeah.
will have
I'll
fine
note that the
optical
weapons, all that stuff is stuff you get to declare on the fly.
Okay.
This is a little bit different from other Fortune of the Dark. For your own pilot's gear, you always get to change it up between missions. Gear that you attach to your mech, because the mech is kind of meant to be like special and its own thing. It is, you can change it, but the mech is harder to change out the gear on. Once you declare it, you need to spend resources to remove that
Yeah,
piece. Yeah.
because it's an augmentation or modification.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah. Uh let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, does anyone else have any questions for Leopold? Cool. Yeah, I'm find that all really cool. I'm going to now let's actually start going sneaking back around with you, Victor. Did you want to declare one of your beliefs about another? And I think all of you start with one tick in that so if you go to your sheet, there's way down, there's connections at row 50. There is a 4-tick clock. You tick the first one and you're going to write and we're going to have a belief about one of the other pilots. And you should put in a name for each of your other pilots. There's a place above for that particular one.
Oh, so they each, okay, that's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Each pilot gets a belief about them, and because the idea is in this game is that you can build up your relationship with the other pilots over time, and in this game, depending on how strong your relationship with them is, you get they give you more dice when they help you. So at the
Hmm.
start of the game,
Right.
all of you only give 1 die to each other when you assist. So
So we were talking about, yeah, I think that what I want to go with for Eddie is I have to keep an eye on them. I know their secret.
Oh, that's a good one.
So maybe it was, that we were letting off some steam after a mission, and we got too intoxicated on our intoxicants
Oh,
of choice, and you let slip something,
shoot.
or for the I guess another way to think about it, if you're leaning into this Russian
Uh-oh.
criminal background, it could be that you have a tattoo that somehow I recognized, so however you want that secret, or the beginnings of that secret, to be slipped to me, I'll let you decide. But yeah, I know your secret, or I think I do, at least. Could be I
Yeah,
know only just I know the better version of that
Dang
bad
it.
secret.
yeah, I love that. And I probably, like, if we leave some of the discovery of that I have a handler to come out
Gosh.
as we go. But yeah, that you have some hint about like how yeah, that I'm not trustworthy sounds awesome. And I think it was um, so somebody suggested that they don't trust me and that's insulting would be a great mirror for that. So I can see great dramatic potential with that.
Cool. And let's go to you, Eddie. Do you have a belief about another player character you want to flesh out?
Yeah, so I was gonna just use they don't trust me and that's insulting for Leopold as kind of the mirror for what he was describing.
It's like how unfair. They're judging you for the things you do. How unfair.
There are consequences for my
Yeah.
actions, and I don't like it.
Judge me for my intentions, not my actions.
Yeah, not the results of the things that I did. Ew.
Like, obviously, you weren't in my situation, so how do you even know?
Well. If this isn't the consequences of my choices.
Cora?
I have for Leopold, they're a sucker who will get me into trouble if I don't fix them. Which I think I don't know. I just feel like that.
Has Leopold somehow like gotten like is this based on something that happened between the two of you?
No, I think it's just a vibe. Like Leopold, like he's like, we're both survivors, but I don't like respect like his
I mean, it could
mentality,
be
the way he's
a
going about
class
it.
thing also, just
Yeah,
the
that
like,
too. Because
yeah,
and that's another thing I was thinking of
I'm
because
lower
I'm from the upper
class.
echelon and you're like a street rat. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was another thing I was
Yeah.
thinking of too.
Why didn't Leopold just simply get born rich? What a sucker.
Cool. And how about we'll snake around. How about do you have a belief for Eddie?
For me,
Yeah.
oh, I did, but I messed up and put the same one on both, and I don't know how to remove it. And then I accidentally, I guess,
I mean you
pasted it
can
on
always
the other line. But I think let me go back to the PDF and see if I can find it real quick because I
it's
know what
just
it
because
was, but I can't.
it's for some reason these aren't like rows, they're individual squares. They haven't been
Yeah,
merged.
it did a
No,
whole
that's okay.
thing.
I got it. You can enter in something new here.
Yeah, let me. I'm looking at the like PDF real quick to make sure that I know the right one. But I remember what it is. It's something about like they don't fit the. Let's see where are the beliefs. They don't fit the objective of this squad, so I will find out why they are here.
I'm hurt.
Which I think also makes sense for Cora. So
Why do you think Eddie doesn't fit the objective of the squad?
Yeah, why?
I just, I first of all, not his real name, obviously. He's just a shifty character. I'm just like, I don't know. And the only shifty character that's allowed to be here is me, okay?
Okay.
I don't know. Cora just it's just her thing. Like she likes to be in control of things, and when she doesn't know things about people, makes of them. It's just, she's in the know most of the time, and the fact that Eddie has secrets and things, I don't know. You're not clear about your intentions. I don't know, but I think it also fits with like Victor or sorry Leopold not trusting. I want Leopold on my side. I want to take Leopold under my wing. And if
That's why you just
Leopold is
referred to him as a sucker, right? That's how you bring
yeah,
people in. You neg them a little, and then suddenly they're your bestie.
yeah. Well, it's tough love, because Cora has an interest in lifting Leopold up, and if Leopold expresses distrust also in Eddie, I think that gives interesting dynamics.
When
Okay.
you said Cora, Cora's in the know. That's funny because what I was picturing for my belief for Cora, and I have the way I'm picturing it is what Billy Crystal is saying when they bring what's his name in The Princess Bride, and he goes, "Boop boop boop, look who knows so much." like,
Right?
so,
Right. Yeah.
just like, and so it's basically Cora thinks she knows, but her learning begins now, or something like that. That that I'm the street smarts that you get in the type of life that I've lived, and I'm yeah, your education will happen quickly, and these missions will be sent on. Some condescension and playing into that classism.
Cool. So I mean, I guess that is basically that's your idea for a belief about Korra.
Yeah, that they have a lot to learn, maybe. Yeah, that was just my thought that Cora's been
Cora is a pseudo intellectual. Like, she doesn't know all she thinks she knows.
yeah. All right. Like many people view the Ivy Towered. Yeah, their knowledge is not practical, but wait till they get to the real world.
And to be fair, maybe Eddie isn't aware of like Cora's history with like the tragedy in the show. So maybe like because he's not aware of that, he really does take her at face value as being from the upper echelon. Whereas like I feel like she did, with the trauma that she had to go through in that experience, did learn a lot about like being kind of street smart and savvy, because you kind of have to have a little bit of that to navigate through different social scenarios and get to the end of a situation like that.
Yeah, I don't
So I
mean to
think
be
that'll be
characterizing.
interesting to see that. No.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see them kind of come to terms with those conflicting perspectives.
yeah, and Cora thinks Eddie's not trustworthy, and completely wrong on that as well. So.
Oh yeah. No, it'll be great.
I'm not
It'll be
being
great.
handled by an outside force and have total conflicts of interest at all. No.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then Victor, I mean Leopold, do you have a belief about Korra?
So Cora, you are hell bent on revenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm worried that revenge makes you reckless and that you're not going to make it out of the war because you're too reckless.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Cool. Have you seen this before?
Have I seen Cora push themselves
Yeah.
in pursuit of their revenge? Yes. But maybe it's, you know what it is, or Cora push back if you don't like this kind of framing. Maybe it's more, it's just, like I've gotten this sense because again, it's not necessarily what happens on the battlefield, but what happens, happens in, in the clubs, in the bars, and how Cora went absolutely apeshit on someone that was just wearing the t-shirt or just recognized them from the streams and maybe wanted an autograph or something, something along those lines of just
Well,
how.
and it could also be where Eddie isn't familiar with like Cora's public image. Maybe Leopold is aware of like what she had to do in order to get where she got, and so maybe Leopold has seen her in a desperate situation push herself and do things that are very questionable, and understands that image about her. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah, sure.
Cool. So yeah, we are coming up at 15 after the hour here. So I think what I envision us doing is I'm going to push us off doing like filling out most of the squad stuff, and we'll do kind of a mini mission today, because that will also give a chance for Chris, once he gets here, to give some input to the squad. Does that work for folks? So in that case, I think we're gonna kind of hard frame at the start of a mission here, kind of start in media res. Let's see, and I want to double check. Yeah, I think we open on the dusty surface of the planet Strides, a world home to a mining colony where they primarily send out harvesting teams prospecting teams looking for veins of holy stone. But in particular, what has brought your squad to the planet is that you have been deployed by the heretics to attack and infiltrate a outlying listening outpost. That what you do know is that it is that while it is a listening outpost of the Empire, it is not being guarded by an Imperial squad, but by a mercenary squad, which is one of the reasons they had sent you out here, but this seemed like a ripe opportunity. There was something else I wanted to say. That the one rule of engagement for this mission is that the heretics want these resources and want the information in the listening outpost. They don't want the listening outpost damaged or destroyed, because they eventually will want to claim anything they can from that site. Your job is to infiltrate and potentially sabotage or remove any station guard that are at the site. But we open, and I think we open specifically as you have arrived at the field of engagement, which is a small valley in which that is home to a kind of, you can tell from a distance, it is a pretty modest like military posting, military posting. There is you can tell from a distance two mechs, one larger, kind of medium sized, and the other smaller, and the other smaller. I think the larger one you can tell. Oh yeah, I'll say there are two mechs that seem to be guarding and actively patrolling the outpost's perimeter. But I wanted to get a sense here as you are preparing. Why don't each of you describe how are you making your engagement here, and why don't you give us a kind of a description of each of your mechs as the camera comes on to them. So how about we open with you, Leopold? Why don't you give us a description of how you, either if you're in your mech or out of it, how are you making this? How do we see you come on into the field of engagement?
So I think that what we see is Leopold is in his spider mech, and with the optical camo engaged, and from either a vantage point, from some vantage point. I'm trying to think of what would make sense. I mean, we're in a valley, so maybe, from either like, gripping onto a cliff edge, looking down into the valley, or just perched at the edge, looking down, and like scanning the I guess so we see the two mechs, and knowing that what is visible is there's always something, other dangers under the surface. If this mercenary team is willing to show this part of their hand, it begs the question of what isn't being shown. And so that's what Mist is up to, is scanning for either cloaked or otherwise hidden assailants.
Sure. So I mean, you mentioned it specifically. You're making a action here.
Yes.
Now let's see. Now first off, I'd like you to go ahead and mark that fine optical camo, because I think otherwise it would be a limited effect action here. because you'd have to do it from far away. The fine optical camo lets you get in relatively close without being detected. Is there anything else you want to declare about your load here that might help with this action?
Let's see. Sure, let's throw the the NVIR sensors on it as well.
Cool. I think with all that, I'd like you can go ahead and go, and I think this would be a risky great maneuver here for free, because you're just getting information, and I think you could get a lot of information with all that. I'm curious, before we get this roll, where are Eddie and Cora if Leopold is going in reconnaissance prior to engagement? You're muted, Eddie. I think it's maybe your headset itself.
What is our kind of, what are we picturing as the best case scenario for success on this mission? The listing outpost, we want to like take out the enemies and take over we want to retain the ability for them to extract as much information as possible, but we want to keep people alive but have control of it at the end of the mission.
There's no specification about casualties for this role of engagement. Okay. They want the infrastructure intact.
Got it. So I guess I was picturing that I would be getting I'm the mech is skilled at moving into ideal position, so getting to a physically advantageous position and probably running electronic countermeasures to evade detection, both for me and for my fellow pilots, as we're kind of setting up an ambush and assessing the threat carefully. So potentially using, I'm a little new to the vehicle gear, but I have a stealth program, find intrusion countermeasures, potentially clicking any of those to help with as we're sneaking into position. Nope, you're muted, Steve.
Oh, and what about Cora? What are you doing?
I am trying to decide what I want to do.
Well, we're gathering lots of information, so you could be proactive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think about. And I think because I wanted to take chaff countermeasure, which is a cloud of metallic strips that can baffle sensors. And I think if we are trying to lay low and gather intel, that maybe I should be doing that so that they don't see us approaching yet, if we're trying to lay low and kind of get a feel for that.
Okay. So so in that case, I'm going to turn back to you, Victor. The die room, if anyone needs it, I'll copy. It's in the keeper in the safety tab at the very top. But I'll also copy it over here.
And this would be a scan, right? So there's that 1d6?
Yeah, it's 1d6 right now, but I'll ask, do you want to push yourself, or do you want to ask for a collateral die? And collateral is a bit like a devil's bargain here.
Yeah. I think I'll start out by pushing myself.
Cool. And so for when you're doing a mech action, you push yourself by invoking one of your quirks.
Oh, geez. Well, I don't have any quirks selected yet.
So yeah, we could come up with one now. That's why I was saying we can kind of keep these. One of the things I was thinking about is delicate limbs.
Yeah, that makes
might
sense.
Help sneak around
yeah, that,
here.
that very much makes sense. Yeah. I'll write that down.
Or maybe sensitive optics.
Also a good one, yeah. Let's start out with the optics.
Cool. So that's 2 dice. I'm wondering, are Kafir, Cora, or Eddie, are you doing anything to help here?
If I can be like, I don't know if helping with electronic countermeasures would be appropriate to allow ideal positioning, or yeah, but delighted to help if I can.
I think this is just gather information, so I don't know if like setup actions are useful here, but if you want to just fictionally spend a stress to give an extra die, that seems like it would probably be the better option here in terms of your resources.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much, Eddie.
Cool.
Maybe I should trust you. Maybe despite your secrets.
And so generous. Why people think this of me?
All right, so 3d6, is that what I'm rolling with?
Yeah, you're rolling with 3d6 now.
Great.
What's the oh, it's just to gather information, so there's not like a effect or
No,
okay.
this isn't like a base gather information. This is risky gray here.
Okay.
Because you're sneaking into a military base, even if it's not a kind of very big one.
So I got a 6 and a 5, or 6, 5, 2. So a 6 is a success, right?
Yeah, it's a flat success.
Cool.
Let me see here. Because I just wanted to double check that I had done that all right. Where is that here? Okay. Yeah, I think that the information that you get here is you were doing a scan, is that this base is on a relative skeleton crew. Striking them quickly would be the best way of keeping casualties and fighting low. But I think the thing that you get on a great is that the bigger of the two mechs has you can tell it has volatile chemicals on it. This is, you can tell as in the scans, this was not a military mech. This is an agricultural mech that was originally made for like spraying pesticide. And those pesticide tanks have been converted into a flamethrower, a giant flamethrower, napalm flinger. And like, if you were to target those, you could take that one down quick.
Awesome.
So yeah, do you relay that information down to the rest of the crew?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It seems like I directed to Cora specifically of yeah yeah, Cora, kill those tanks.
Oh, okay. Let's look at vehicle gear, because I don't have, I took cheap countermeasure, but I don't know as far as weaponry what I need. So
Well, and apologies if I'm misreading what your character, who your character will be. It seemed like
no,
you were going to
that's
be the
totally
more
fine.
martial one.
No, yeah, I want something long range. So I don't know. Let's see. Would a directed energy weapon be suitable?
Well, I think all of them have descriptions there. What is the directed energy
see.
weapon described as?
It says a device that coalesces a highly visible beam of thermal energy. It can melt through targets, but it's prone to overheating.
Yeah, what does that
Or
look like on your weapon, on your mech?
what I thinking of, and this is like in kind of in the why the service has antlers, is that the beam kind of forms in sort of the middle of the antlers and kind of shoots out as if like it were a bow and arrow. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's why I think that the service has these antlers. So yeah, I think then I would employ that. What would that be with that? I guess um that would be a bombard, right? Because that's a long range.
Yeah. And I think that generally this would usually be controlled limited because it's not a fine energy weapon. But because you have that information from, are you acting on the information from Leopold for this action?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So that would be 1 die, 1d6,
So yeah, I'd say it's
right?
a controlled risk, a controlled standard here.
So I need, hold on. So I
Maybe
just roll the
just
1d6 and then
Yeah, so it's so it's, I'll ask, do you want to give a do you want to take a collateral die here?
that would be, well, I guess because
I'm
first
going to
of
say, I'll
all,
offer. I'll say
uh-huh,
that if you
okay,
want to let loose with this, because you're using bombard, not like
yeah,
something precise. If you want to let
yeah,
loose, I'll start a clock that says base destroyed and mark 2 out of 4 ticks on it. But you'll get an extra
okay.
die.
What do you guys think? Is it worth it?
I mean, I'm also willing to take stress to help. But if you want to take that bargain, I'd say ending this quickly with a little bit of damage is a risk worth taking. So it can be
Okay.
both. It could be. Oh wait, no,
If
can't.
if Leopold were to offer an assist, what would that look like?
I think what Leopold would be doing is opening up, like broadcasting the data so that you have, maximal, you have everything that you can see, or everything that I can see, you can see, so that you can feed that data into your targeting. But of
Oh yeah,
course,
you're like,
Okay.
you're the straight up the spotter for this bombard.
yeah,
So
exactly.
my question also then is, can I push myself? Can I take a stress and push myself to get it from risky to control?
It's already controlled. You're
Oh, it
not
is
in
controlled.
risk here because you're
Oh,
doing it
oh,
from a
okay.
distance. And I'd say usually
Okay.
you'd have a controlled limited here, but because of the information, you have controlled standard.
Oh, okay. Then I don't I could push myself for an extra die though, right? So I
Yeah,
could have
or you could
3.
take that, that bargain.
I think take a stress and just push
It's
myself for
too
the
stress.
extra die because
It's for a mech action, you need to exhaust one of your quirks.
well, I was gonna say as well with the risk of overheating the directed energy weapon and also the exposed machinery, like I am pushing on that quirk a little
Sure.
bit. Like that is a little bit of a risk as well.
Cool.
But like that's Cora because she will go ham on it. So um I think that's why she chose service because it's definitely a like not a mech that is probably set up to be doing what she's doing with it.
Cool.
um so do I mark a stress then or am I
No,
just work
I I'm gonna double check, but I believe you just exhaust a quirk when you're
okay.
using a mech action.
Okay.
But quirks are their own
So I could
thing
take
to like recover, so that's like a problem itself because like
okay.
quirks take a different action to like recover.
So then I'm rolling 3d6, right? With controlled standard.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. So what did I get? I got 645.
Nice.
Yeah, you're rolling great today, everyone. So let's see here. Why don't you describe for us what does it look like as you lance into this? Because I think you take out the medium mech straight up, Cora.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, you just sort of see these like sort of like psionic or electronic kind of vibes coming from each of the antlers, and then they all kind of coalesce in the middle and sort of start forming a ball, which then extends out and just like lances straight at this mech. And we were going for the flamethrower, right?
Yeah, the flamethrower mech. Yeah.
So I think it just, because it is that energy in and of itself is you know, what is it? Because it said it had a risk of overheating, so it's very um I think it just blasts, and like it's probably not subtle at all. Just a giant ball of flames, like it just erupts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the chatter from the base just blows up when you do this. And I think this is definitely something Eddie, I assume you have been listening to, given you're the hacker. But as like that chatter is out, you hear like orders for scrambling. I think though that a signal opens up directly to you that says, all right, listen up, fuckers. And I think it's actually in a thick Russian accent like your own, just because other people in this world need to exist that have that accent.
Right.
Listen up, fuckers. We know that you're out there, but we have orders here that this space is going to either stay in our hands or to burn it to the ground. So how about you folks keep your distance, or we start wrecking things over here?
I want to just like resist that. I'm trying to remember when
This
is the
isn't
appropriate.
this isn't a consequence. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just him making a threat. You can't like this is something you'll take an action to deal
yeah,
with,
yeah,
not
yeah.
a resistance.
Um,
Because like you can't like resist them knowing
Yep.
they're being attacked
You
because
know,
you blew up one of their
press the
mechs.
button if you control the
Yeah.
button.
yeah, I was just gonna say I'm pretty strong in interface, and so yeah, to somehow hack in and disable the self-destruct, uh, whatever systems connect their I will push the button to whatever the button does. Yeah, I guess so. That's kind of leaving that the other mech alone for the moment and focusing on trying to disable the ability to carry out this threat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe I don't know visually how we would do it for the viewers at home watching our awesome cartoon anime mech show, but that I picture a lot of clacking on keyboards and slapping switches. Although, yeah, I guess in my analog mech, it's like a Terry Gilliam 12 Monkeys esque keyboard, like clacking, and like my giant magnification as I'm putting it over the screens.
Oh,
And
is your
then,
hack rig also kind of analog?
oh yeah,
Okay.
and then big switches that I'm manually pulling and everything. Like maybe others have these beautiful touchscreen interfaces, and mine is just like this.
Yeah, you're the last mechanical keyboard in the universe, in the galaxy.
And like wireless. What is wireless? Bluetooth? Why? Oh, cannot connect. No problem. Touch cord to other cord is connected. Kids. So yeah, but maybe the goal is to send some sort of feedback or hack in through the signal or through the connection that they just made to me. Like they just made a direct connection, so I'm going to bibbly boobly technical talk, go back through the connection and use it to like fry that system or work my way into the innards and yeah, disable their ability to self-destruct.
Sure.
Just that easy. Okay,
yeah,
good.
I have
it's done.
Well, I'm gonna say I think let's see. What are you using to, let's see, because I'm wondering if you have anything on your equipment. Like you have your
The
hack
hack
rig.
rig. Yeah.
And does it
Um,
have your hack rig stuff here in the sheet?
yes, well, I mean, if I hover over it, it has a description. Portable computer with high-end intrusion software detail. If the hack rig is a tablet, a laptop, or a tower, it can be filled with hacker specialist vehicle gear or valuable data. Changing its load requires spending material or materiel.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it had any of the programs in this actual sheet, which is weird that doesn't.
Okay.
Let me open up the, just so we have a sense of what you could use here. I mean, I'd say like we can probably, you have fine hacking tools. So I'd say that it's actually just a risky standard here. Like this is because normally it would be risky limited because they are a tier higher than you. But you have risky standard here. Would you like a collateral dice? Well, I'll tell you, but you can take a collateral dice if you've secretly been given orders by Phoenix to make a copy of all the data for her.
I mean, that sounds like a tomorrow me problem. That's why I love like I feel like no people, yeah, so many of the best devil's bargains are always like, oh yeah, future me has to deal with that. Fuck that guy. What's he ever done for me? Literally nothing. So, yeah, I mean that sounds delightful. I don't know if any of the other players have an objection. I know the characters would, but
Go for it.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so I would have my
If you feel driven for it, do it.
yeah. So I would have my two interface dice plus a die for the collateral.
Yep.
Is it worth getting help, or 3 dice is pretty?
I don't know if
pretty darn
either
solid?
character could help you right now because they're
Okay.
actually engaged in combat.
The other thing if it's I could potentially try to do is trade position for effect and desperate. Great. If
If
I
you
don't know.
want, yeah, go ahead.
And if I screw it up, just
What are you? How are
horrifying
you? Well,
consequences.
I should actually note. How are you trading that position for effect?
Yeah, I mean, I could see both potentially damaging the base that I'm being uncareful as I go in, or potentially damaging my own brain as I like do not
Yeah,
use the
I
normal
guess I
fail
should.
safes.
Yeah, I guess I should say that like you can tell then if you're keeping this interface open, they are
Mm,
actively trying to hack your rig in back.
sure,
That's the desperate rate here because you are keeping your ports open. You are
sure.
like it's yeah, that works.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean,
like a full channel between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Okay, so 3 dice, desperate, great.
Yep. So go ahead and mark experience
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
rolling a desperate action.
Do that.
Um, all right, so I haven't used the roller yet. No, not a fudge die. Okay, 3 dice, roll. Pray for me. 6, 4, 5. Woo! Wait, no, it's Corfell. That's not
No,
me.
that's
No, that's not
5, 2,
me.
3,
Wait,
almost.
where am I? I don't even know
But
where
you got a
my dice are.
5, and that's still good.
That's still pretty good.
You're at the top, so yeah,
Yeah.
it is a little confusing.
Oh, there it is. 5, 2, 3. Got it. Sorry, I saw Cora got highlighted there, so I saw it. But nope. All right. 5, 2, 3. So I'm glad
As she would like it.
I'm glad I got that extra die because it would have been I guess when I'm GMing I always say whatever the best die is came from the bargaining or the help just to make it more so like that it would have been a 2-3 without the so all right. What horror comes my way for getting partial success on a desperate roll?
Yeah. I think you will. This is a little mission, so I don't want to make it too
Like there could be a
no, I'm
virus
looking
that gets
here. I
copied
think
to Phoenix.
yeah. I think that I'm going to ask you to take level. So you described it, you're actually like interfacing your brain with this hacking.
Yeah, sure. That sounds horrible.
And actually, yeah, we kind of discussed the idea that this is actually like there is a psychic component to using the hacking in this world, because you are interfacing with this holy stone. I think that you have level 1 harm migraine
Okay.
and level 2 damage to your mech fried circuitry.
So can I resist one or both of
Yeah,
those?
you can resist either of those, yes.
Um,
But you'd have
yeah.
to make 2 separate resistances here.
Is it, do I guess I see armor slots. Can I use that for?
I think for this action, armor would not help you here because it's occurring like via,
Yep.
the interface,
Yeah,
not
metal plates don't help me avoid.
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, maybe I'll start with my vehicle because what is brain can always get in the brain. Um, let's see. So I would roll. I guess my resolve. My resolve resistance 2D.
Yeah, and
Oh, not fudge.
resolve would be for your damage to your
My brain.
yeah, your brain, if you
Okay.
want to do that first.
Well, maybe I'm gonna start with the mech one and then see
And
how much
so
stress I have.
vehicle resistance also works a little bit differently.
Okay.
You don't roll dice for vehicle resistance. Instead, you have to exhaust quirks
Oh, okay.
minus the attribute rating. So in this case, I would say it would be you'd have to exhaust 3 quirks out of your 4 to resist that damage to your mech.
How do you renew them?
It is a downtime action.
Oh, okay.
It let's see here how it takes to how many quirks you get to resolve each downtime. It would be fit. No, that's yeah, upkeep. It is you have to spend 1 material and roll. You have to spend at least 1 material and you roll a dice equal to the material spent. And the vehicle refreshes that many quirks.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do that. We'll learn a new mechanic. I have only written in analog so far, but I don't want to slow everybody down while I try to think
Yeah,
of.
you see, this is why it like having only a few dots in your mech can be expensive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that I don't roll, I just click the 3 and it automatically resists. So does that drop it to level 1 harm?
Yeah,
Or
that immediately drops it to level 1.
okay. And sorry, what should I call that?
In that case, I'd say level 1 glitchy.
I guess I see. Oh, it's harm and then there's damage. Got it. So
Yeah,
level
harm
1
is
glitchy.
you damages to the mech.
Okay. So yeah, and then maybe I'll go ahead and do the 2 dice resistance for my brain.
Okay.
Let's see. Roll 2d6 plus 0. All I see is 8. Oh, there,
You
2
got,
to 6.
yeah, you got a
Okay.
6, so you took no stress for resisting that harm.
Sweet. So my yeah,
What does it look like as you're resisting all this, by the way, to get a sense?
yeah, I'm working furiously and just a stream of pseudo-Slavic profanity comes pouring out as I'm just grabbing and pulling levers, and then you can see like I'm kind of shaking as maybe we get shots of them like see how he likes this, and they send something that clearly is meant to like fry my brain, and maybe some comments about like this was enough to kill 12 pilots that came last time. This should blow his head off. And then you see me like shaking and like blood trickling down. And then I just kind of look back up to the camera and be like, is that all? And so yeah.
Cool. Turning back over to Leopold. Leopold, you see this like energy lance just shoot down and just explode this flamethrower mech. And the smaller one, which is like more of a light mech, like starts turning up and firing off a covering fire of machine gun into, actually I'll say, like, because we kind of described I think it's more interesting. It's like machine gun, but it's more like, machine laser fire. Like, kind of Star Wars-esque, firing up, covering fire of laser fire up into the clip, up into the valleys, up into the valley from where Cora fired from. What do you do?
So, it's a small mech and I'm a medium mech. So while it is firing on Cora, if I'm still camouflaged, I am going to drop down from my vantage point and use the distraction to basically ram the smaller mech and knock it onto its back.
Yeah, and I'd say to start with, I'd usually say if you're attacking it that it's standard, that it's risky limited here because it's higher tier than you.
Mhm.
It sounds like immediately you are just trading position for effect here. This is desperate risky. I mean desperate standard.
Sure, yeah.
What action are you using? And do you want to mark anything that might help you here?
So I'm torn between, is this, well, let's see. All right, no, it's not that. So it sounds like this is just a battle.
Yeah, it might be. I could take a quick look over here at action, see if there's anything. It could be a destroy. When you destroy, you employ overwhelming destruction through your vehicle. You're just smashing through stuff.
Mm.
But battle makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, or the other question I have is what's going on with because are the foot soldiers coming out of the base too?
I think that you've been getting good enough dice rolls. The foot soldiers are still not organized yet because this
Okay.
is all happening very fast.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go after the smaller mech while it's distracted, and yeah, keep with the just going to you know ram right into it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, give me this roll with battle. How many dice do you have in that?
One.
Cool. Do you want to push yourself for effect? Take a collateral.
I'll take a collateral because I don't want to use two quirks in one session
Can
yet.
I
Oh,
can I give an assist?
I'd love it.
Sure, you can assist. How would you like to assist?
I think as I see Leopold moving in, I want to go in antlers first, which and nudge them into the line of like the lineup and kind of like throw them off.
Oh, you're
Oh,
muted,
you're
Steven.
muted, Steven.
I'm just getting a sense of your position because we were describing you were bombarding before, so you were pretty
I
far away.
was.
Yeah.
Can I, before Leopold makes a move, can I roll maneuver to do that? Or
You could also help by keeping up the pressure,
Yeah, you could do maneuver as a setup action. That makes sense.
and then I have two in maneuver, so I can roll 2d6. And
Yeah, would you like to
also,
take
do I get
go
an
ahead.
extra for being top heavy as my quirk?
That is if you would like to push yourself for an extra die. You can exhaust that quirk.
Yeah, I'll exhaust that quirk to push myself for the extra die.
Sure.
Because I'm using the antlers, so I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're doing maneuver. I'd say this is risky standard here. It's a setup action. It's not would you like oh no, you're pushing yourself, so you can't ask for a collateral die. So
Yeah.
go ahead and give me this roll.
3d6, right?
Yep.
Because I have 2 plus 1. Okay. And I got 413, so 4. That's not the worst.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say I think you're you have these exposed machinery and top heavy. I think as you do this land to make this really maneuver, because I think you're just like coming straight in and there's like a wump
Oh yeah,
to the ground. It cracks under you. You
that's
can
fine.
take 2 damage to your mech. And it is uh damaged like not damaged but uh crippled legs, not crippled because that would be more level 3. I'd say uh limping. That's it.
Hmm.
Limping is the level
Can
2
I
damage you take.
resist?
Yeah, you could resist. It would cost, actually it would only cost you 2 quirks here to resist that damage. Or no, sorry, I'm
Oh, I
looking
would.
at the infiltrator. It would cost you 3 quirks.
Oh, and I don't have any quirks, right? Because I exhausted both of mine.
You have 4 total.
Oh,
Yeah, and here, let me mark. You have 2. So yeah, you can't resist it. You could, I say, for this, armor might help if you want to mark armor.
um, what's the load on armor?
Armor costs 2 load.
I don't know. I think I have the. I put the antlers as a melee, and I think that's 1 load, 1 load, 1 load. So yeah, I could probably mark armor.
Okay.
So yeah, I took medium, so that finishes my load.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, you can just take a level 1 damage lagging rotor.
That's fine.
Cool. So yeah, Leopold, you I'm gonna say, I assume you're probably gonna give like improved effect here.
For a
Desperate great total.
sure. So wait, what am I marking here?
So you're gonna mark an XP to your the track that battles on, which is
Okay,
expertise.
great.
And you are rolling you're also gonna spend a quirk to push yourself.
Sure. And I am going to be using my power hungry camo.
Oh, to get the surprise.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Then I guess you're rolling 2 dice total with desperate great.
All right, sounds good. Oops. Second. About to roll 5 die. Ooh, 4s.
Cool. And I think we're kind of getting close to wrapping this up. So we're just pushing a little past the hour. Folks, cool, just spending a couple more minutes to wrap up the mission, and then
That's
we'll
fine. Yep.
close out.
Or fine for me.
Cool. So for you got a desperate great here. So you do accomplish a lot. So I think why don't you describe for me how you take out this mech?
Yeah, sure. So, what we see, so Cora, wait, can you remind me, Cora, what was your fictional positioning?
I just ran into the side of that mech, but I think I fell and because there was unstable ground. So I think I'm not on that mech, but I pushed it for you.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, so what we see is, yeah, Cora's mech. And yours is deer shaped, right?
They're humanoid shaped, but they have antlers, so they're
Okay, all
top
right, all right.
heavy.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so we see Cora's mech lumbering and uh nail the smaller mech with its antlers, with the mech's antlers. And then as the mech Korra's mech tumbles, the smaller mech flies, and in midair, that's where my camo drops, and we see a perfect connection as it gets launched into the side of a cliff and crumples, destroyed, or severely damaged, or whatever. Actually, well, I guess you get to decide what the level of damage is, but yeah, basically. Korra knocks it perfectly, sets it up so that I can knock it out of the air and damage it deeply.
Okay. I think in that case, I think there are two consequences. Well, yeah, it's desperate great. There's two consequences. I think level one harm to your mech of dented. But I think also as you just smash in, you're invoking this optical camo gear. I think that part is for now junked. You can't make use of it until you repair it as a downtime action.
All right. So how? Oh, so would
You can just
where does
make
that get?
add a little
Oh,
note that it's
breakdown. There it
junked.
is. It's probably
Yeah.
breakdown.
No, breakdown is when you push your vehicle past its limit.
Oh, okay.
No, you'll add you'll just mark that the fine optical camo is junked. Do you want to resist either of those?
I'll resist the optical camo
Cool.
junking.
And you actually have 2 resistance in this, so you actually do have just enough quirks to handle it.
All right, great.
So how do you manage to avoid junking your optical camo?
Hmm. So I'm imagining that, this is like a module that's on the body of it. And, we've set in the fiction that my vehicle is multi-limbed. And so what it is that it looked like it was going to land just directly on there when the limbs that were formerly pointing upward shift and point down and just, catch itself before it completely just falls flat, smashing the camo or flat or smashing that module.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna turn over to Cora here, and then we'll find out how Eddie is doing. Cora, you
Uh-huh.
there is panicking. Both the mechs are taken out.
Mhm.
I think the base is probably on like how does is Cora's impulse here to attack the base or to like try to
No.
start negotiating here?
She wants to negotiate.
Yeah.
Because they've already like gone after Eddie, and although I don't trust Eddie, I also want to keep my team intact. So I don't want them to, destroy the base, obviously, because that's our directive is like it doesn't matter if there's casualties, but we need the base intact. So I definitely want to negotiate with them. Um, so I guess would that be a sway or
Why don't you tell me what how do you do it?
I'm imagining that like as she is getting up from the fall, like immediately once she realizes that Leopold took out the smaller mech the way that they intended, that she's already trying to patch through to that base and communicate with them instead of having it fall on Eddie because obviously they're threatening Eddie, but she knows how to talk to people. So I'm thinking, um, yeah, because Sway is for negotiating better ceasefire terms. So I
Yeah.
think the way she's gonna go about it is just to be like, hey, like we're acting under orders. I understand that you guys have your own orders, but obviously, uh, you're outgunned at this point. So if you know if you want to go about this, I guess I'll roll 2 or
Yeah,
and
you
see
can go
how that
ahead and roll
goes.
2, unless you want to like push yourself or take collateral here.
And this I could push. I could take a stress to push myself because
2
it's me,
stress.
not the mech.
Yes,
I'll
but
take 2 stress to push myself.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Let me mark that real quick, and then I'll.
And I'd say this is
Um,
risky standard here.
In point of clarity, they tried to threaten. Eddie is not threatened.
Can I argue to make it desperate rape?
I think
Because I
in
do
that
think
case,
there's like
you
a
would need
level
to
of desperation.
you would actually need to like climb out of your mech and show that you were doing this in good faith. That's what
fine.
desperate would be here.
Yeah, that's fine. I
Yeah,
think that it
okay.
is for Cora in this situation, it is sort of desperate, and she wants great effect here because again, we really need them to not totally dismantle this base on us.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go ahead and roll 3. And I got 3 3s. So
Oh boy. Let's see here. I think that, yeah, what happens is that you hear that voice over the chatter, Eddie, that says, take a shot at this idiot. And Cora, you get level 3 harm as a rifle, as you hear a rifle shot go off, and it just pierces into your chest, like chest wound. Do you want to resist that or mark armor if you have the load?
for pilot, I haven't taken anything on
Yeah.
pilot. I'll mark armor.
It's funny,
So I
many
definitely
of
think
them could have
that's-
lived before that. We might have left several alive. What strange choices people make.
So yeah, I'll mark armor on that.
Yeah.
Um,
So that takes it down
I could
to
also like I could resist, but I don't know. I already took 2 stress, so I don't know.
You can resist, sure.
What do I need to resist? Do I take more stress for that, or
You'd be rolling, in this case, it would probably be a prowess because you're taking physical harm.
I have no prowess. I have no prowess.
You have 1. You have 1 prowess, and so you'd roll that die, and you'd take 6 stress minus whatever you
You're
roll.
right, because it's for resist. You're right, because I took finesse. You're right. Okay, yeah. I'll roll it and see.
Yep.
I got a 5.
Yeah, you just take 1 stress. So I think
Okay.
that goes down from a level 3 harm chest wound to level 1 harm winded.
Okay.
Like, because it lands even through that armor, you can just feel all of the air.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just like you're gonna have a wide bruise all across your chest after this after this mission is over.
Oh yeah.
And I think that Eddie, from your vantage, you can see the riflemen looking down, and they say to their boss, "Should I take another shot, boss? They're down." And I think the voice says, "Look, we can't afford to lose face with our manager. I don't want to do it, but see if you can make it quick."
Yeah, my separation, as a player, my sensitive issues of like intercepting harm being done to friends of mine is I'm trying to separate what would this character do, but um, yeah, I like trying to think of something threatening versus a sudden burst of interception. I guess I mean I can just get my mech in the way of the between the rifle and Coron out of their mech, but otherwise I'm trying to think of what is going to actually be effective. I guess what's interesting in the fiction versus what's I hear not to metagame too much, but I like to actually be effective at keeping Cora from being shot again in the chest. So well I guess I have 2 dots in maneuver on my mech, so just moving it so that I'm physically blocking the rifleman's trajectory to Cora probably makes sense in fiction and is metagaming smart, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And I do want to like spew out something pretty threatening. I feel like both in character and from his trying to build trust with the teams, like you know I can hear my teammate breathing through my comm. That is the only reason my mech will not pull your body slowly apart. That is the one shot that you will be allowed and possibly surviving your leaving of this planet. So yeah, maybe I'll roll the maneuver dice while I'm quickly trying to run into position and shield Cora.
Sure. Give me a risky standard maneuver here.
Okay. Anything else I should do? Try to get extra dice, or just roll the straight 2 6s. Yeah, I guess I can maybe just straight up roll them.
Oh man.
3 and a 1. Funkalicious. That sucks.
Well, I'll yeah, see we're now hitting. We ended the hot streak.
I know we had a good setup and it's all going to crap.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we commented about it. We cursed ourselves.
I know.
This ship is literally unsinkable.
I spent my 3 good rolls on my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good place to spend them, but
I think
so the gremlin steps on Cora as tries to intercept.
no, this all happens. I think you do get there. I think this was more a matter of like, was this show going to like have an effect on the defenders? And so let's see. It was a risky here. And I think that you're going to take level 2 damage to your mech. Leaking fluids.
And I've expended 3 quirks, so I don't know if there's anything I can.
You could mark armor at this point because this is
actual. Oh yeah. But
is your mech light, medium, or heavy? I'm curious.
Well, in fiction, I guess I'm picturing it. I guess I don't know what
light mechs are smaller and easier to sneak, easier piloting and getting them around, moving quickly. Heavy mechs are straight up giant. They are like skyscraper mechs.
Okay. So there is still kind of a fictional.
Yeah, light mechs are kind of more tank sized. Maybe a bit bigger than that.
Being maybe medium, that as much as I want to have speed and stealth, that I have a lot of electronic countermeasures, and
yeah,
I can't. Maybe I've kind of heavily loaded up a light mech. So that
I see. Here's where all of your programs are. They're here under the vehicle gear.
Okay.
You can put those into your hack rig. Like the fine retrieval program, fine coding program, electronic filter, stealth program, all that is for the hack rig.
I'm not seeing where you're looking, but
Their vehicle under vehicle gear. It's to the right of pilot
Oh,
gear.
got it. Okay. So those are all programs. Got it. Okay. Well, yeah. So maybe I will, yeah, check medium mech and then use armor to help ameliorate the damage. Where is armor? Here. Oh, there we go. So, I guess I don't know how to click on that armor, but can we take
You can
multiple?
just, I think, type anything into it and it will fill it up with yellow. See,
Okay. Okay. So if I click on it, so each time I click it, it drops it by one level, or you have to click it. I guess I'm not
yeah,
sure how to.
you can potentially put a lot of armor onto your mech if you want.
Sure.
But like you're using up your only use of armor now to bring it down to dented.
Okay.
Yeah. Leopold just manages Eddie just manages to intercept these rifle blasts. They ping off of the armor. Leopold, what do you do here? Like you've handled their outside defenses. It's really a matter of how do you break this base open and get in, or get them to surrender, really, at this point.
Huh. Well, so they are not in cover, or the person who shot at Cora is not in cover, right? Are they
They're like in one of the base's lookout towers.
okay? So Cora isn't down though, right? Like you're winded, but you know,
I
um,
think I was incapacitated
Cora is winded and has
via
kind of been
winded.
shot, like flung back onto the ground. They are
Yeah.
not in their mech right now
oh,
Right.
okay, you've been not okay.
because Cora specifically got out of their mech to show that this was like a sign of good faith.
Yeah. I
Okay.
tried to push for death, but great. Okay.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Huh. Well, I guess that what Leopold does, Leopold would like to end this quickly. And so to do that, are there so if there so it sounds like they're in a building. It's not like there are people that I could use
No, they're not going to
anti-infantry.
come out and engage a bunch of mechs
No,
on
yeah.
foot.
No. Okay. Well, then just trying to decide what I want to do to
What are your thoughts here?
yeah. Well, I want to use my hands. I want to use my arms. So I'm going to go over there and start ripping that building apart with my mech.
I was gonna say,
Just
climb the tower.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, Leopold, the camo down, but not being so trusting as to get out of his mech. Yeah, rushes over to the tower, plants 2 of his 8 arms at the base of the tower, and then use the other ones to begin just pulling hunks of concrete off of it
Cool. What
to
action are you
terrify
using
them.
here?
I mean, I guess this sounds to me like a sorry, I'm scrolling through. I mean, it sounds like a battle, or actually, no, it really sounds like a destroy, um, which I don't have any dice in, but to hell with it. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, you can't push yourself because all your quirks are used up.
Yeah,
Would you like to take a
devil's bar, or the
yep,
functional equivalent of a devil's bargain.
yeah,
Sure.
collateral die?
Let's hear what it is.
Could I help by point out where exactly the guy is and be like, get that piece of shit right there, like, that somehow I'm kind of spotting for the.
Sure, or you're even using some of your hacking rig to disable some
Yeah,
of
to
the
paint them
physical
red in
defenses.
my
Yeah.
AR. Yeah.
And as you
Cool.
go up, slamming this giant metal hand, be like, "Come here, I want to talk to you."
Cool. So I'd say this is first off standard risky with no dice. But you're giving one die, so it's one die, and I guess the collateral here, because we're about to wrap the mission, I think is that this is heavier, but they expected you to go in. I'd say that you're going to lose one trust with your faction at the end of this, and trust is it builds up over time, so it's not a big sacrifice, but like you'll get one less trust as a result of this.
Well, I'm gonna
I think
I'm gonna trust that Cora can help rebuild that trust, being a a charming social character. So yeah, let's just start off on the back foot with them a little bit, and yeah.
Sure. Okay, give me a 2d6
Or I'm sorry,
here.
I'm gonna give away the other players. Roy and Cricket, do you have a problem with this?
I'm fine.
All
Do
right,
what you
good.
need to
Let's do it
do.
then.
We
Yeah,
gotta get it done.
yeah,
That
we
sounds
do.
like a tomorrow-less problem.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
So that sounds like a 2d6.
Yeah.
All right, fingers crossed.
Okay, there you
4. All
go.
right,
A
yeah.
4.
Would have been a 1 without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You manage it. And I think we kind of I think that this building kind of see, it's you get some consequence here. It's risky, so I'd say you're gonna take a level 2 damage to your mech. It's gonna be
I mean, something to the delicate limbs, probably.
yeah, I think it's gonna be broken limbs. Like, I think it's not that all of them are broken, but you have like a couple of them of your several are broken. So yeah, why don't you describe how this surrender looks as you break into the base? Because like once you break their defenses, I think they are not going to like fight to the death here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what we see, or what the audience sees, is from the inside of the command tower. As maybe they've got like, it's thick concrete with an AR display over it, and we just see the crack be, the panicked people in the control room, the thick wall beginning to crack, and the light pouring through in the parts of the AR as the walls get cracked, and then the camera getting filled with a massive mechanical hand as it pulls. It seeks out and pulls the one commander, indiscriminately crushing the other people in the room, because I do not have fine motor control, or at least have not set that in the fiction. And yeah, pull that commander to what would be my my pilot pod, open it up and say, "We accept your surrender."
And what do we see of Cora as the mission closes?
I mean, I think she's picking herself up, getting back in her mech and gearing up to get out of there. Because I'm sure she's watching Leopold scale the tower.
Yeah. And
she's like,
Eddie,
okay,
yeah.
I told him.
And Eddie, after the fighting's done, do you go through with that promise you made to Phoenix?
No. Yes, of course it is. Yeah. I mean, I think I already took the not devil's bargain, the collateral. So little late for me to go back on that now.
Okay.
I getting back a die if I do.
Okay. Cool.
Well, you could. It would just be the price would be double. You know, it'd be, you'd be pissing everybody off.
All right.
That bomb in the back of your neck, is that forgot slipped your attention? Oh, okay.
In that case, let's just quickly take a look at player character XP triggers. You'll find them over at oh, where are they on this character sheet? There's so much here.
It's closer to the bottom on the right. It's above the engagement roll.
There it is.
59.
Yeah, it's row 57, column AP. Okay, first off, Leopold, did you address a problem with stealth or evasion?
Yes, I did.
Did you do it more than once?
Yeah, I started out, scanning in stealth, and then rushed the small mech while in stealth.
Okay. So 2 XP there. Did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
I don't think that I did. Let me just review it, but no, there was nothing really that, yeah, I wouldn't say so.
Did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
Not yet. Or well,
Okay.
with my the quirks is the vehicle quirks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I ended up struggling because of my, the consequences of my actions. I had issues with my camo and with my limbs. I don't know if that
This
counts.
is up to the player. I'm
Yeah.
asking you.
So yeah, I would count those quirks.
Okay, so it's 1
But definitely
XP, I
not
think, at the
beliefs.
end.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Eddie, let's see. You are the hacker. Did
Addressed a challenge with knowledge or digital power. I think I certainly did that some. Did I do enough for 2? I don't know if let's see. I did it a couple times. Yeah, I did I stopped the self-destruct, and I sent the feedback.
you did the digital tracking as well for Leopold?
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in between 1 and 2. I'm open
So
to
you,
either.
you go with what you want.
I'm gonna go with
I'd
one.
say you should
yeah.
do 2. I think every single thing you did was a technical solution.
Okay. I will take it.
Did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
Yeah, I guess the questions with Phoenix certainly seem to be causing hiccups. So
Yeah.
much like any good game of Fate, I'm punching myself in the mouth, being like, I'm getting experience, so, as it should be. So I'll do maybe 1 for that.
I feel like I did the same.
Yeah, and did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
I don't think so. Yeah, and I think I think both. They don't trust me, and that's insulting. With Leopold, we'll have some interesting follow-up after this one, and then feeling like Cora has a lot to learn from me stepping in front of Cora about to be shot. Well, there's a good opportunity for the next session to play up the social aspect of those, but not yet.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And now I'm going to remind us, because it's going to be important for this question. You don't have to succeed at doing it. It just says, did you address it? Did you address Cora? Did you address a challenge with deception or influence?
I think I did both. Initially, when we used the chafe countermeasure, it was to deceive and throw off their sensors.
Okay,
I also
yeah.
did attempt to influence them with getting out of my mech and trying to sway them to come to a ceasefire. So I think I did both.
Sure.
So
Go
does
ahead
that
and mark 2
would that
XP.
count for 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Did you
don't think I addressed my history or my tragedy, but no, I think I went with my history because of me trying to sway my persona to sway them to a ceasefire. I think I could maybe take 1.
It could also apply to your desire to like rebuild your reputation, which is your opening.
That too.
So
I still
I'd
think
say,
it would only be 1 though.
Yeah, I'd
because
say
it's the
1.
same
I was
action,
saying, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I do think I did struggle because of my quirks at least one time because of the top heavy mech. So I think that's at least one.
Sure.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Sorry for running a bit long tonight, but that
Oh, that's
wraps us
fine.
for the evening. We'll handle payout and the consequences of all that later, next session. But I had a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for showing up. And I'm just going to take us off air now.